Hello everyone, this is Raven with another gameplay replay of the Wood Elves versus the Beastmen. So I'm going to start talking real quickly here because the action is going to start off right out of the gates, and I mean that quite literally. As soon as this match starts, there's going to be arrows flying and blood splattering the screen as soon as we get underway. So I'm going to start talking about the armies immediately and go ahead and get into the action. So right here I got the Glade Lady with the Forest Dragon with the Potion of Foolhardiness, Potion of Toughness, Prey of Anathrema, and the Arrows of Kurnos. Over here I have the Spell Singer with the Lore of Life on her Great Eagle. I have the Earth Blood and Earth Bloom ability as well as the Arcane Conduit. I forgot to take off the Blessing of the Ancients ability that comes when she's in the forest and gives her a better power recharge rate for the Winds of Magic. Over here you can see I have 2 units, Wild Riders with shields on either flank, and then 3 units of Glade Riders with Hagbane tips spread out along the front here. And then I have 5 units of Deepwood Scouts. 2 or 3 of them have a chevron on them, and that makes up my entire army. The Deepwood Scouts do have the Swift Shiver shards because I was expecting lots of lightly armored infantry, which is quite common with the Beastmen, other than their Bestigors and their Gorbles as well have 100 armor, I believe. I can't quite remember how much they have right off the bat, but all that damage coming off those Swift River shards will do really good work. So over here, you can see a unit of Synagores and a unit of Chaos Poison Warhounds. So they have 101 move speed, able to catch any units that I have quite quickly because all my units either have 95 or 85 movement speed for the fastest, except for my Spellseeker with the Lore of Life over here on our Great Eagle, 110 movement speed. Another duo right here, Synagores, Warhounds over here. In the back, 3 Bestigors, 2 Ungor Spearmen with shields on either side, the Bray Shaman with the Lore of Shadows over here. Actually brought quite a few spells, so Occam's Mind Razor for that added damage and magical damage and armor-piercing damage in combat. Really good stuff to put on any kind of Bestigors or your Lord or something like that, make them very, very powerful. And then over here, you can see the Withering. This can actually be upgraded to an area of effect and gives everybody that minus 30 armor. Over here, Enfeebling Foe. This would be great to cast on an enemy lord, which would make them quite useless in melee. So this, in tandem with the Occam's Mind Razor on your own lord, would make for a very, very good power play right here. Stick in this Beast Lord who's amazing in combat, honestly. He has really good melee attack and really good melee defense, as well as very high weapon strength and not a lot of armor-piercing damage, but that's totally fine, especially against the Wood Elves, so that'd be very powerful. And over here, Melkoff's Mystifying Miasma. So this casted against any kind of large unit size units that I might have, like my Glade Riders over here with Hagbane tips, will do really good damage. I believe it's like 600 to 1,000 damage per spell cast. I can't even remember. It's pretty good though. Pretty good stuff. And in the front, he has 2 Ungor Raiders, basic little archers that they have, and then 5 units of Gore Herds, the dual axe-wielding infantry that they have. So let's just kick it off. This is an immediate melee. Immediately out of the gate, I'm just like, oh shit. I start pulling back all my Glade Riders with Hagbane tips and start trying to bring back all my infantry here. All my archers are getting slaughtered in the front line. Right here you can see that this unit already dropped to half of its unit size and had so much HP taken away. I start intercepting all of his units with my Wild Riders here, and they start racking up the kills immediately. As you can see, only losing 1 model right here, but gaining 36 kills and still climbing. Over here, not the best engagement. Losing kind of evenly with this unit of Gore Herds. I need to pull these guys out. I do smartly pull them out. Over here, I'm able to pull back the rest of my archers, and I'm going to start putting down lots of fire on the hills. I put in the Glade Lady with the Dragon over here on the hill to start trying intercepting all these guys coming in, try and direct their attention to her rather than down here. He loses micro in his front line just a little bit. He starts trying to pull in his Lord and some other units to start trying to take out this flank over here. As you can see, he did bring in those units for the woods, the other Centaur and Chaos Poison Warhounds, unit in, and some Withering Fire coming in from these Ungor Raiders. He's not targeting my Spellsinger with the Lore of Life, I don't think, but he is hitting all these Deepwood Scouts that are still in range, and these Wildwood Riders would have been a juicy target as well. Thankfully, they do have the shields, though, so that's very good stuff. Over here, though, you can see Punishing Fire coming in and just absolutely annihilating all these Gore Herds, and I'm going to start pulling back all my units quite quickly. I do lose micro on this unit of Wild Riders because I was paying attention to everything, because my whole army, I feel like I'm in shambles right now, trying to catch these Warhounds before they can intercept and do too much damage to my Deepwood Scouts, who are doing amazing damage to the front line right here. As you can see, the battle started off with him having 1,172 to my 527. I'm already down to almost half of my units, and I've only just started whittling down his units, only getting about 200 kills so far between all my units. So over here, you can see that I do net down this Bestigor herd. I was hoping to try and slow down some of these other Bestigors, but they just pull right through and start coming after my units, and I start having to run them away even quicker than I was before. I'm just trying to run for the hills. Right here, the Hackbane tips are able to slow down all these units. As you can see, they have a very high movement speed when they're not poisoned, 44, but over here only a 35 movement speed when poisoned, so exactly the same as my Deepwood Scouts, who are going to be moving at the exact same movement speed. So over here, my Lord is just being an absolute baller, just going straight into the fight. The lady just doesn't even care. She's just in here soaking up the damage from all 4 of these units, one of which is a hero, and then the Lord was also being pulled in to start trying to deal with mine. Over here, these Wild Riders are doing amazing work for me. 141 kills on them so far. Do lose micro on them a little bit, and they're going to turn around here and start fighting these unendorsed spearmen, which is absolutely terrible, but that's okay because they aren't actually pulling forward, and they're just going to get shot in the backs right here, away from all their shields by all these swift shooter shards. Oh, here these Bestigors are being torn apart by all these arrow fire. Look at all this, all the damage is coming in straight on them, so that's just super unfortunate. Over here, these Warhounds had a perfect opportunity to take out these Deepwood Scouts, but they were pulled away, and now they're being slaughtered by all these arrows. And then over here, he brings in his 2 Centigores that had came back from routing, and they're going to be absolutely dumpstered by all this missile fire. Over there in the background, you can see that my Wild Riders were routed from the field a little bit. I was trying to bring them back. These guys are coming back in too. I'm going to start trying to help out my Lord, who's trying to take up all this damage. So my opponent is losing his micro a little bit over here. All these units are not being employed. All these units are trying to chase down my Lord right here, and he's going to start trying to engage that. So he kind of just hard groups everything, I guess, and then unhard groups it and just pulls them all in against the Lord. He's like, if I can get rid of her, I can start getting rid of the rest of the army and just be able to absolutely tank the leadership on all these guys, because, you know, they're getting tired already. And they're taking a lot of damage, and I can't really heal them that much because anybody that was damaged is practically dead for the most part. Over here, my Lord is taking a lot of damage. I had to pop that Earth Blood on her to keep her alive, and you can see the withering going down, so I popped the potion of full hardiness, and you can see her leadership was wavering there quite dramatically. So start pulling in all my units here, and I'm going to try and get rid of all these Ungor Spearmen. I sent in my Spellslinger with the Lore of Life. I was trying to have her attack them, but I accidentally misclicked right behind the unit. I put her right behind them, and she just didn't even attack them. They're going to run for the hills now, so they're going to start following my Lord and these Wild Riders into the trees over here and trying to escape the missile fire of these Wood Elves, which has been punishing. As you can see here, he's down to half of his troop size now, and I'm just short of half of mine too, I believe. So very good stuff coming out of us so far. Look at the damage coming in, though. So they're moving out of my range just slightly. This unit's still in range just a little bit. There's only 19 models in that unit, so not a whole lot of damage coming out of them. Oh, these poor guys are routing straight through all these Ungors right here, but absolutely bowling through them, sending them flying like pins. Over here, going to be chasing down these Bestigors a little bit, but then I decide I'm going to start trying to regroup all my units. And I'm not sure if I can actually get any healing off on any of these guys, because like I said, a lot of the models are dead that were damaged. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get as big as a heal as possible before I start trying to re-engage this army. Over here, I try and pull out these Wild Riders, who are being absolute heroes. Only 6 of them left, but 166 kills between them. That is just absolutely amazing stuff. This unit over here did perform quite well. Only 73 kills on them, sadly, but, you know, it is what it is. They did good work for me. Over here, this unit did pick up a Chevron, so that's very good stuff. And over here, you can actually see that I still only have... This unit actually picked up another Chevron on top of what they already had, so good stuff. You can see that my archers have been paying dividends over and over again. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward here. It's just going to be a little bit of scurrying around. His army's just going to stay in these trees because, you know, I wouldn't want to come out of these trees either. Obviously, the threat here is going to be my missile units being able to do their work without coming into melee. And his power is going to lie on these Bestigors over here, these 2 very healthy units who have amazing armor and very high health. Over here, I'm just doing some dancing around with my Lore of Life caster, and she's just not really eating up too many arrows. Less a little bit of micro on her right there. I was trying to get my army pre-positioned, and you can just see he is just wasting arrows all over the place. Take a look at the field here. You can just see them all over the place. If I can move over here, get them on the little angle. Actually, I guess they just went ahead and disappeared. They do disappear after a little bit. Over here, you can see that I did a little bit of scouting. He turned off the fire at will, and I went ahead and scouted out, flew over here, and flew back, and I was like, all right, I see what all he's got. I saw that this was his little stronger flank. Over here would be a lot weaker. So I started pulling on all my archers over here, and they're going to be able to decimate these guys with their low armor. And over here, I'm just going to focus on whittling down these Bestigors, because the Glade Riders are going to be able to get out of there no problem. But however, these guys completely outmaneuver my Deepwood Scouts. That 44 movement speed is going to be pretty punishing if they can get within range. Over here, just kind of being a little nuisance with my Lore of Life caster, keeping her in the back, keeping him thinking about her, because I can dive bomb with with her at any second. I start trying to pull these Wild Riders back here with my Lord, and then he starts pulling back all of his units, and I get some punishing shots in. As you can see, all these units just start dying right here. Very big hits coming in from all those Swift Shiver Shards, so good stuff. Right here, my lady did get a little bit rambunctious, and she got caught out a little bit, and if he had started targeting her with the Lord and the spell caster right here, that would have been probably the end for her pretty quickly. Thankfully, though, he didn't start targeting her down. I was able to run her away and start getting her up in the air again, so that's good stuff. And because she is in the forest, even though she's not landed on the ground, she's actually getting that Blessing of the Ancients. You can see it down there in the unit card, and it's going to be gone now. So I was able to regenerate the Winds of Magic quite substantially for a little bit, and right here, this is going to be absolutely brutal. This charge coming in, so 3709 health, 3300, and then this breath attack is just going to absolutely annihilate that health. Look at that, dropping so much HP off of him so quickly, but I start taking so much arrow fire, and I'm like, oh, that was a good trade for a little bit. They really weakened that Bestigor herd, but those arrows start punishing my Lord, so I have to pull her out. Milkoff's Mystifying Miasma was casted on my Lord, but it's better against multiple combatants, so, you know, it's not going to be doing the most damage to her. As you can see, she's at 1369 HP, and she stayed there for almost half the, half the duration of that spell. So, I'm going to start, you know, moseying around, trying to position my army, and the engagement's going to start off pretty quickly here. You can see that these guys are hidden. I feel like he kind of forgot about them, and you can only see these guys. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to face my army over here. I feel like he's probably going to be pulling in with the archers over here, but I did not. I kept them over here, and as soon as I see them start repositioning this way, all the shields start going this way to start trying to absorb the missile fire of these Wild Riders that are going to be coming in from the front. What? Not Wild Riders, but the Glade Riders, excuse me. However, I do have a few very, very courageous Wild Riders who stayed in the fight to help the lady try and win the day. So I start pulling them in, and they're going to do absolutely devastating damage against these Gore Herds and these Ungor Raiders back here as soon as they get in range, and I put them on fire at will. So over here, I start pulling in my Lord. I'm going to attack both of these units with the Spellsinger and the Lady on each one of these Ungor Spearman units. I get some initial shots in there just to poison them, weaken them a little bit, reduce their damage a little bit, so I can start trying to take as little as possible, because every bit of HP counts right here for my Lord, and he doesn't really pay attention to his backline right here, and I absolutely dumpster these poor Ungor Raiders right here. They're going to start fleeing from the field quite soon from all this punishing missile fire. And over here, you're going to see that they're going to start firing in on these Gore Herds as well, trying to help out my Lord, who's taking quite a lot of damage. Now she's down to 890 HP, 872, so I start rushing in all my Glade Riders. Even though they have used all their ammunition, I'm like, I just need everything in there. I need to route everything. I'm going to start pulling back in my Lord too, because if I can get that terror going, as you can see, she wasn't even in combat. These Bestigors already terror routed, so if I can get that going across the whole lines right here, that's just going to be absolutely brutal for my opponent. So I'm going to have to try and do that, because we're so close to the edge of the map that if I can scare these guys off, it's going to absolutely tilt the bar of balance in my favor. So I'm really, really trying. The Spellsinger with the Lore of Life's trying to do her best with her horrible melee stats. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but 18 melee attack and 12 melee defense is not the best. Certainly not the best. But over here I am terror routing this Bestigor unit off, and they're going to come back. I don't know how they came back like that. My Lord was hot and heavy on them, and these Wild Riders are going to come in now and start trying to get them, and they pull away. Oh well. But as you can see, these Swift Shiver Shards are absolutely not giving a fuck about all the HP of these guys, because they do not have shields, so they're going to be absolutely tearing them apart. Riding these guys down with the Wild Riders and the Glade Riders coming back in once more for a little charge coming in. Not the best melee stats on these guys either, but you know what? When they start running out of arrows, and I really need that damage, I really, really need it, so I'm just going to pull them in anyways. Over here, I start firing in still with all my Swift Shiver Shards, and it's doing more harm than good, really. So he's only got a few Bestigors over here, and these Wild Riders are trying desperately to do damage. And you can see that when they do fire in, it was doing more damage to my units than it was to his own. So right here, actually eliminating a couple of my Wild Riders, and they're going to start routing now. So not doing the most damage to his Beast Lord either, because he has 70 armor, and not going to be doing the most damage to these guys either, because they are so beaten and battered and mixed in between all my units, and the Swift Shiver Shards don't have the best accuracy because they do split up over distance, so, you know, have to be really careful. Right here, all these units start routing off even though they're being healed, and I was just so sad. I lost two Glade Riders like that, excuse me, and I only have one left, and I start trying to pull them back, and I'm like, alright, well this is it. I start pulling in my Deepwood Scouts as fast as possible, and I start running in here, but I see that he still has the Bray Shaman, and his Beast Lord is in amazing health, and he hasn't even used his potions yet. So I'm so terrified of that, but you can see these Swift Shiver Shards are just coming in here and just doing absolutely amazing work. They're just lining up for all these arrows coming in. Just keep an eye on the Brave Shaman here because he just absolutely gets mopped up. Where is he at? Where is he? He's right here. So this is the Brave Shaman. He starts coming after these guys, and they're just going to say nope. And they just start trying to chase him down because he was actually charging in, and he just got massacred by a whole bunch of arrows. Like 30 people shot him straight in the face at once and dropped him from like half HP to 75. So he gets chased off quite efficiently by these Deepwood Scouts. So very good stuff here. They're actually able to start doing some good work to these best scores as well. And I locked down the Beast Lord here and actually shot in an Arrows of Kurnos, and it did some pretty good damage, and that's why I pulled back all these Deepwood Scouts momentarily, because I really wanted to do the most damage that I could to the Beast Lord without harming my own units. So I start sticking in my Spell Singer with the Lore of Life over here, and he's going to pop the potion of Foolhardiness, because you can see his leadership's teetering into the negatives, and then it goes back up, and then he gives that potion, and it goes up to 100, and he's going to be unbreakable. So over here I start trying to land my Lord, but then I pull her out, and I'm like, you know what, this is it, this is the final fight, because I was going to stick her in, but then I got scared because she does have 595, and I was like, you know what, with all the damage this guy could cause, it could be a terror route, but I was like, you know what, I could terror route them too, so, you know, that ended up being it. My Lord terror routed him as soon as she got into combat, and that was all that she wrote. I don't think the Beast Lord could have dealt with all these units, but you never know. He had such good HP left, and he has so much damage against all these lightly armored targets that aren't meant for melee combat, so it could have been absolutely devastating. But thankfully, Spellsinger and all those, the Deepwood Scouts in there were able to win the day against the Beast Lord and send him running for the hills, so very good game from my opponent. I did not expect all those Vanguarded units. That was terrifying. As soon as I saw this, I was so close to just exiting the game. I was like, this is a lost cause. I don't think I'm going to be able to win because, like, one of these units just absolutely got massacred from the very beginning of the game. And as you can see, actually, all the three units that had a chevron on them actually picked up another chevron between all three of the units. That's pretty funny. Overall, though, the Swiftshiver Shards just absolutely tore up this army. They decimated the Cyndigores, they decimated the Warhounds, and they decimated the Gore Herds and the Ungore Raiders. They just did so well for me. And this one Wild Rider unit right here did so much work. Oh my god, so much work. And not to mention my Glade Lord. I didn't realize that she had 103 kills. I rewatched this replay like twice before I casted it too, and I didn't even realize. I still hadn't realized till just now that she had 103 kills. So great stuff right there too. 91 on this Swiftshiver Shard unit. So good stuff all around. So very good game to my opponent. If you guys like what you saw, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, leave a comment down in the comment section down below to criticize me on what I can do better for y'all. And as always, I'll catch y'all later.